Learn English from Li Ruihuan on Dialectics. 20200830121934917917 19517195999 19871989200219932003. Li Ruihuan, Methods in Dialectics. Common problems should be found in the principles and policies, and recurring problems should be found in the law of development. When we talk about research issues, the most important thing is research characteristics. When we talk about understanding things, the most important thing is about characteristics. When we talk about combining with reality, the most important thing is combining characteristics. What is a piece of wood? It is a piece of wood. This answer is not wrong, but what is it? It depends on the specific situation. Using it to make furniture is raw material, using it to burn fire is fuel, using it to carry water is a tool, using it to fight the bad guys is a weapon, using it to commit murder and robbery is a murder weapon, and it is evidence when it is obtained in court, but it is still the same piece. Wood. This is qualitative diversity. It is necessary to have a comprehensive view, not only to see all aspects, but also to distinguish between mainstream and tributary. One divided into two is a Marxist view, but one cannot be understood as half to half. It is necessary to clarify which is the primary side and which is the secondary side, regardless of whether it is right or wrong, and it is also wrong to reverse and regardless of primary or secondary. In the work, pay attention to adhere to the overall planning and consideration, distinguish the priority, emphasize the first follow-up, and implement supporting advancement. The strengths, weaknesses, characteristics, and weaknesses must be properly viewed. A person often has this head long and the other short, and the other head is long and the other short. Sometimes the length is the reason for the shortness, and the shortness is the result of the longness. At the same time, some advantages and disadvantages are associated. If you do not pay attention to protecting the advantages and blindly pick out the disadvantages will be gone, but the advantages will be gone. You should not compare the shortcomings of others with your own advantages. The crow and the phoenix are both so dirty than their butts. Why don't they look better than their wings? Don't get over anything. Overstepping the form is called formalism, overweighting is called book-basedism, overlanding is called localism, and overbeing individual is called individualism. Of course, there must be a form, a book must be discussed, and a place must be considered, and the individual cannot completely ignore it. Things in the world are complicated. Some things need to be done more and more talked about, and some things need to be done more and less talked or not talked about. Some things must be done and often done but not always said, especially not regardless of occasions. For example, everyone has to eat and shit, and people often only talk about eating but rarely shit. On major issues of principle, we must stand firm and have a clear-cut stand, but trivial matters that are too clear are not good. The doctor easily sees germs everywhere, so he washes his hands back and forth, making his nerves very nervous. Li Ruihuan, Development in Dialectics. Adhere to coordination and gradual progress, and pay attention to the overall effect. The ancients said, if the country should be united, who will appreciate the eyebrows alone? Although the individual facial features are good, they are not coordinated with each other and are also ugly. Since the founding of the People's Republic of China, we have learned a very important lesson, that is, neglecting the gradual progress of coordination, walking hurriedly and stopping for a long time, causing great ups and downs and great losses. China is a giant. As long as it walks steadily, its steps will be great. As long as it does not fall, it will be a great achievement. The most terrifying thing is that I toss myself and burn myself first. Persist in quantitative changes without stopping. At the same time, grasp sudden changes and don't hesitate to make breakthroughs when the time is right. China will never threaten others, and it must never be threatened by others again. The era of people are the swords and I am the fish will never be allowed to reappear. The Chinese people have a saying, listen to the crickets, can you still grow crops? The China threat theory will only inspire the Chinese people to unite, concentrate, and develop faster and better. Reporters note, the cricket, scientific name mole cricket, is a pest that bites the roots of crops, and its sound is very unpleasant. Li Ruihuan, Reform in Talking About Dialectics. Reform, as the name implies, is to change, abolish, and innovate. If you do everything based on how you write in books, what the regulations say, what leaders say, what you did in the past, and what others do, reform will be difficult to achieve. Some people have formed a habit of determining everything first and asking whether it is socialism or capitalism. As I said, the husband named after the children. When a child is born, a nickname is given first. The nickname is not particular about it. You can call it a Mao, a Gu, or Taidan. The key issue is that the child must be raised well, be strong, smart, and capable. How to achieve planned liberalization and controlled invigoration is a major issue that must be studied and resolved. Being open and lively is the performance of strong control ability. To fly a kite, do not release, that is, you can release it and collect it again. The ability to control is seen from the degree of release. There are flies and mosquitoes in the summer, but the food and various crops we need can grow in the summer. Although there are fewer pests in the winter, there are no crops in the winter. Therefore, no one wants to spend the winter always. Li Ruihuan, Opening in Dialectics. Advocate that openness is the proper meaning of Marxism, and deny that openness is not true Marxism. For the Chinese, Marxism itself was introduced from abroad. Take the best of every family and go your own way. Taking the best of the family is ultimately to walk one's own way. Don't just look at whether others make money or not, but also whether you make money. Don't just look at whether you make money right now, but also whether you make money in the long run. Don't just look at whether a specific project makes money or not, but also look at the overall make money or not. Li Ruihuan, Construction in Talking Dialectics. The main contradiction becomes the main contradiction because it determines the overall situation and drives others. Grasping the main contradiction does not mean that other contradictions can be resolved naturally without grasping. Practice has proved that if the secondary contradiction is not resolved well, it will also hinder the resolution of the primary contradiction and even turn it into an obstacle to progress. The whole project is a game of chess, and there should be no shortage of carts, horses, guns and pawns. Each has its own position and function. The development of everything is the unity of stages and continuity. Talking only about continuity and not about stages is to deny the relative stability of the development of things. In terms of work, it also denies the specific goals within a certain period of time. In doing so, there must be no waves, no ups and downs, no necessary concentrated assaults, and no intermissions and rests that should be due collapse. To talk about phases instead of continuity is to separate the connection and development of things. In terms of work, it also loses its scientific foresight. only pays attention to the task at hand and cannot see the long-term goal. To do so will inevitably be work for a while and rest for a while, stop and stop without catching your breath, and it is sniffing. Working method, draft style command, hop and stop tactics. Li Ruihuan, Experience of Dialectics. We have many comrades with similar ages, similar experiences, similar talents, and practical spirit, but progress is much worse. Many reasons can be found, one of which is good at summing up experience. Every time some comrades have done something, they have to think about it to find out what is right and what wrong. This is called eating a ditch, gaining wisdom, fighting a battle, and making progress. However, some comrades ask to do it, and even after it is done, they are confused and careless, knowing what they are, and not knowing why, so progress is slow. Exploring in practice, summarizing in practice, solving problems with practice, and promoting work with experience. In summing up our experience, we have to break apart, crush, straighten, and smooth the complicated and scattered materials. We must classify, line up, put together, and discuss good generations, keep dividing, dividing back and forth, dividing while combining, dividing, combining. This is a process of searching for the inner connection of things and exploring the objective laws. It is a process from simple to complex, from complex to simple, cyclical, and spiraling. It is the most difficult step and the most bitter one. This requires considerable effort. Whoever is afraid of exerting effort will not find the truth. Summarizing experience should not be about moving around in words, but about thinking about it in your head. Analyze first, then synthesize, and synthesize in the process of analysis. This is the basic method for understanding things and summing up experience. Analysis means analyzing contradictions and decomposing the unified whole into various parts, aspects, and elements for investigation. Synthesis is the result of comprehensive analysis, which is to understand each part, aspect, and element as a whole on the basis of separate investigation. Analysis is not simply divided, but divided according to the nature and characteristics of things. Synthesis is not combined casually, but combined according to internal logic of things. The points must be separated, and the points must be integrated. In people's actual thinking activities, there is often synthesis in analysis and analysis in synthesis. The process of analysis is also a process of synthesis. Li Ruihuan, Pragmatic in Talking About Dialectics. Empty talk will lead to the wrong country, and work hard to rejuvenate the country. Junction is created, achievements are made. Work hard in theory, articles, words, and generalizations. This is our strength. But in one word, one argument, we fiddled back and forth, argued back and forth, wasted time, and ended up losing opportunities. This is also our lesson. There are some things, and now we have nothing to do with them. Of course, big principles don't give in, little things pretend to be confused, no arguing, less toss, buy time, and work quickly. Make full use of time and use space rationally. Space is full and time is constant. There are some bureaucratic leaders who do not go deep into reality, do not contact the masses, are unclear about the situation, have a lot of determination, and have too many ideas in the wrong way. They make decisions and command indiscriminately, making the next difficult and losing their work. Li Ruihuan, Innovation in Dialectics. If a country or a nation wants to keep up with the times and make a difference, it must constantly emancipate its mind, be brave and be good at innovation. If a country or a nation is rigid in thinking and prevalent in superstition, everything starts from the basics, everything that the ancestors said can't be changed, and everything that the ancestors didn't say can't be done, then it must not be angry and it must be stagnant. It must decline and even decline. Innovation is a relative concept. Innovation has not only a qualitative leap, but also a quantitative change. There are both big breakthroughs and small improvements, both content updates and formal changes. Li Ruihuan, Practice of Dialectics. The smartest and most knowledgeable people are those with practical experience. Since the reform and opening up, many of our effective ways and methods have not been devised by a leader but by the masses in practice. Books needs to be studied carefully, because it is difficult to guide practice without understanding books, but bookism is wrong, because bookkeeping is indifferent to the past, copying, and some are completely out of reality. Li Ruihuan, Seeking Truth in Talking About Dialectics. There are many reasons for people's success or victory, but from a philosophical point of view, it is one, that is, subjective thinking consciously or unconsciously conforms to objective laws. There are many reasons why people make mistakes, but from the ideological line, the fundamental reason is also one, that is, subjective thinking does not conform to objective reality and violates the principle of seeking truth from facts. Ignoring the laws of nature and one-sidedly exaggerating the power of man is voluntarism. Letting nature at the mercy of nature deny man's ability is fatalism. People cannot violate the laws and reform the laws, but they can understand and use the laws. The more you compare, the more you feel proud, the more amazing you feel. Who doesn't grow tall? Li Ruihuan, Do Practical Things in Dialectics. Where does the prestige of leaders come from? It can't be sealed by superiors, it can't be suppressed by power, it can't be blown out by itself, and it can't be deceived by being clever. Only by sincerely, wholeheartedly, and unremittingly doing practical things for the masses can we gradually establish it. New word. Feedback.